Hi, this is Colleen from Keeping the Peace, and welcome back to another episode of Colleen Answers Your Questions. Today we're answering a question from a lady named Crystal. We've been conversing back and forth a little bit on email. She lives in South Carolina. She has family here, so it turns out that a couple weeks from now she's coming up for Christmas holidays and we're going to do a little training together, so I'm really looking forward to that. But she sent me 2 pictures of targets. And her question about these targets is, my fiance thinks that I'm anticipating my shots. What do you think? If it's anticipation, what are some things that could help with that? Okay, anticipation is an extremely common problem, especially with new shooters, because your body basically dreads the noise and it dreads the feeling of the recoil in your hand. A lot of times you've sort of made your own first impression of shooting before you've actually done it. So in your mind you think that the gun's going to jump, you think it's going to kick your hand really hard, you think it's going to be really loud, and because you think all those things, you have all these predisposed conditions before you go in, it kind of makes the real experience even more dramatic, if that makes any sense. So you're going to be fighting against noise. A great way to take care of that issue is to double plug or use earplugs in addition to earmuffs, a really good quality set of earmuffs, especially if you're shooting indoors, because the noise indoors is far louder than outdoors. So if you can just use double protection, that's going to really reduce the sound, and once you've heard that it's greatly reduced, you're going to not have such angst built up about the sound. Another thing is, if you're shooting an indoor range where it's extremely busy, or people are maybe using full auto or things like that, or really big guns, you might just want to pick a time of the day where it's not extremely busy. You can ask the people that own the range, and generally they'll be able to tell you the hours of the day that are best for that. Another thing is to go ahead and get out of your mind the notion that you're going to be able to keep the gun from moving when you shoot it. It's naturally going to do a little bit of a rising motion. That's totally natural. It should happen, and your body might want to fight that. We actually call that anticipating recoil. That's the name of it. And since your mind thinks the gun's going to jump up, what it does is it tries to hold it down. So you're actually putting downward pressure on the gun. Instead of focusing on your grip and your sights and your trigger finger, you're trying to hold it down. And that always causes you to shoot low. A good way to diagnose yourself, if you'd like to find out whether you're anticipating shots, is to shoot 1 round and then stop, don't move, and see whether you have to raise your gun back up to level your sights off. If you're ending your shot below your line of sight, then you have to be anticipating, because a gun never recoils in a downward motion. It always recoils slightly upward. And again, I say slightly. Our mind thinks it's going to be way bigger than it is. So there are 2 opposites when it comes to recoil. There are people that anticipate it and people that induce it. Inducers make the gun rise higher than it needs to. Anticipators try to hold it down to keep it from that natural rise of recoil. So just accept the fact that the gun's going to rise a little bit. When you finish a shot, you should have to come back down slightly in order to line up your sights again. So you should shoot, shoot, shoot. It should be a very slight downward motion to get it back into your line of sight. If ever you shoot and have to come back up, you're definitely anticipating recoil. So Crystal, I hope that helps you. Don't expect yourself to conquer that right away. It might take a little time, and I really look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks, and we'll definitely work on that if you haven't already fixed it by the time we get together. Have a safe travel up. If anyone else is traveling through Kentucky and you'd like to get together, just let me know. Thanks for your question. Hope it helps other people too.